Hello, I'm Sensei Alex Kikuya. The title of today's talk is Dealing with Life's Crap. Before we get into that, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I post talks in the future. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, that'd be great too. As a homesteader, I spend a lot of time dealing with animal manure. I clean out the cat's litter box, I step in it when I feed the chickens, and I collect it from our rabbits. That last part might be a little suspicious. It's not often people talk about their awesome rabbit poop collection, but I promise there's a good reason. You see, one of the things I learned when I was apprenticing on organic farms is that if you want healthy crops, you have to start with healthy soil. The soil is a living thing, and like anything else, it needs to be fed. It turns out it's especially fond of rabbit poop. The manure is filled with nitrogen and phosphorus. It's also slow releasing, so it'll feed your crops throughout the growing season. This being the case, once a week I grab up all the rabbit manure I can and I spread it across our garden beds. It's effective, but if I have to be honest, this is not one of my favorite tasks to do here on the homestead. The manure can be smelly when it's wet, it attracts flies, and if I'm not careful, there are times when it winds up all over my clothes. It's on days like that when I think maybe it would be easier to just buy fertilizer at the store like a normal person. But that wouldn't change the fact that as long as there are rabbits on the property, I'll have to deal with their poop. The only question is, will I do so in a skillful or an unskillful way? This is true of being a homesteader, and it's also true of daily life. As Westerners, many of us have bought into the false notion that life is a meritocracy. We believe if that we make good decisions and we're good people, then bad things will never happen to us. But nothing could be further from the truth. Buddha taught us 2,600 years ago that life is suffering, that part of being a human being is knowing that every morning when we wake up, life is going to hand us a bag of crap to deal with. Maybe it'll be an unkind word from our spouse, or the loss of a job. Maybe someone will cut us off in traffic. The question isn't will we have crap to deal with, but how will we deal with it? Will we treat it in a skillful or an unskillful way? This is why having a consistent Buddhist practice is so important. Trainings like meditation and mindful breathing give us the tools we need to calm our minds so that we can see our problems carefully. Chanting and sutra study help us look to the teachings for guidance so that we can transform our difficulties into something useful. It's frustrating, but suffering is an inescapable part of life. But if we are consistent in our practice, then we will consistently have the tools necessary to deal with that suffering. And when we approach our challenges in this way, accepting that new ones will always be on the horizon, and having the faith that we'll be able to deal with them, the whole world opens up to us. And all of life's difficulties become fertilizer for our garden. Amitabha.